Hey everybody, welcome to the Matt and Mark podcast. We finally have a name for it. Okay? Astute observations and insightful discussions about music, right? So it's a mouthful, but it works, right? So, God, man, it seems like forever, but it's only been a month since we recorded our first batch of podcasts. Now we're on to the second batch. So.
Yeah, man, I appreciated everybody that watched those and sent me a message, whatever. You know, that was cool.
Yeah, we're getting a little traction. It's kind of nice to see the numbers go up. We've had over 1,000 minutes of viewing within the first couple of weeks, so that's not bad.
Wow.
People, 1,000 minutes of their time given watching us clowns. That's
amazing.
Pretty awesome, it is. So it's been definitely a learning experience, too, because I've never done this whole podcasting video stuff. And let me tell you kind of something that was really interesting. So for those of you who don't know, the music that we use on this is actually my tune from my, I guess it's Mad Dog Mark and the Blues Hounds, right?
Yeah, we got this Exhibit A right here.
Exhibit A, yes.
Circa 1994.
Well, I re-recorded that last year, and I released the song this year. So I'm using the instrumental and the intro and some bits and clips of it for the music in this podcast. Well, when I launched, I guess it was the second episode of the podcast, YouTube flagged it, says there's a copyright claim on it. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? It's my music. Well, CD Baby, who is the aggregator that I use, went ahead and put a copyright claim on the music we're using in this podcast on my behalf. So it's kind of really a convoluted craziness here. I want them to do that, but not against my stuff.
Right.
So now I got to go on how to figure out how to tell CD Baby, well, that's actually my stuff. So thank you for collecting royalties from me to give back to me after your cut.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy how all that.
Well, you know what we should do? We should use one of my songs too.
Well, there you go. Sure. You just rob your pocket from the royalties you earn on this.
Right
right
on.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. I'll have to listen to your clips and stuff.
Millions of pennies.
Hey, why not, man? Every cent counts, right?
It's crazy, man. I was looking at my statement the other day, and it was like, just thousands of pages, but they're all like, 0.00023, okay, 0.00046, and this is like, Apple Music, Google, just 40, 50, however many downloads they get it to. It was amazing, but I'm just like, man, that's hundredths of a cent, I think, or thousands of a cent.
And it varies too. One spin on Spotify can be like a half a penny at one moment, and then another time it's going to be like 1/100th of a penny.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I don't get it either.
Yeah, there's some strange logic to all of that kind of stuff. So where is the furthest, most remote region of the world that has downloaded your stuff or listened to your stuff?
Man, it's all over. Like I said, there was the first page I looked at was like, it said it had 37 pages, and it only goes back like, I think 3 years. Or something, and so I didn't make it through all the 36 pages, but it's like, every line is a download or a stream or a listen or whatever, and it tells you, where it's coming from, like, and then there's other reports that'll look and it'll tell you where in the world, and South America, Europe, Asia, India, Africa, all over the place, nice. Australia, just every place. And so it's pretty amazing to think that, hey, people are listening to this, they're streaming it somehow, Are they beating down your door with, $500 order of Christmas merchandise? Right, no, maybe not. But the music's out there, and that's cool. That wasn't possible 30 years ago.
No, it wasn't. No, you're lucky just to have somebody make a mixtape of your stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, just today I happened to look, and Good to Be Alive, which was my first release this year, was somebody downloaded in Japan. It's like, wow, okay, now I've got the Asian market. I've had European already because some people in France and Norway and someone in Ireland, too.
Well, you know what you can say now?
What's that?
That you're big in Japan.
I am. I will be live at the Budokan any day
You're probably at least 5 inches taller than most people there.
That's true. The only time I've been to Japan is through the airport, so.
I was born there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, Tachikawa Air Force Base.
Yeah. Carlos was the Air Force guy, huh?
No, they were teaching for Department of Defense.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they taught for Department of Defense, and so I was born at the Air Force Base at Tachikawa.
Nice. You like sushi?
Love it.
I do too. We're going to have to do sushi for lunch one of these planet meetings.
Yeah, you can keep the sake. I'm not too much on that. But
a little bit of that goes a long way, and the headache goes even further.
It tastes terrible. I don't know what it is.
So awesome, man.
Man, the NAMM show was last week.
Yeah, man. The Facebook was full of it, and just being in the event business and the trade show business, I can just imagine the headache that show's got to be to put on.
It's enormous, man. I mean, when I went, it was they had it at the convention center downtown LA a few years ago, and they're back to Anaheim, I guess. But I mean, we were staying an hour away, and it was hard getting there. And once you get there, I mean, it's just so much to see. You just hardly can absorb it all, you know.
Yeah,
It's so loud in there. You're like packed earplugs. If you're going to NAMM, first thing you should put in your bag is a packet of earplugs, because you know, other people trying out gear and amps and stuff, and it's just like, I mean, 2 or 3 days of that's about all you can take.
Right, because it's none of it's organized noise. It's just chaos.
Yeah, well, they're all trying to sell their stuff, and I mean, everybody's rolling out their new products for the year, and so that's really exciting. Just, you know, now with the videos and everything, it's just awesome because you can kind of see what's happening and see what's going on without going to all this effort. And, you know, it's just pretty neat. But
now, is the NAMM show open to the public, or do you got to get a special invite because it's for the manufacturers and retailers, isn't it?
Well, I think you can go up there and walk up and buy a ticket. I'm not really sure.
Right.
You know, this has been some years ago when I went to Los Angeles and both to Nashville. But I think, you know, that it's the National Association of Music Merchandisers. So certain stores and people like that, they probably have to pay a membership to be in it. And
right.
I don't know how that all works, but I think, you know, I just bought a ticket and walked in there because I was, you know, doing some trade show stuff myself.
Yeah, You've had your dabblings in the merchandising business and retail business. With Back Porch Records and the Cosmic Cowboy.
Yeah, it was just like, you know, I was looking for a few of those kind of opportunities there. And I mean, it was well worth going to, you know, because I made a lot of contacts. Some people I still even hang out and know today, you know. Nice. I met at NAMM one way or another. And it's just a good way for everybody that's actually in the business to be in one place for a few days, hours, whatever, and you know, just show off what they're coming up with, what they're coming out with. You know, I've watched hours and hours and hours of this every year, you know, because it's pretty fascinating what they're coming out with these days as far as technology and any pedals, amps, guitars. I mean, there's always builders out there that, you know, just amazing the amount of stuff that's out there to buy. It really is. And so some of it is an improvement on current things. Other stuff I just still don't understand, you know. Yeah,
that's crazy. And the way the whole pedal business has exploded over the last decade or so. And it started off with a lot of the modders out there, those you know, Keeley and those guys in Wampler that like to get in there and mod these pedals, and Analog Man's another one. And they just turn these things into very lucrative businesses. Yeah. And it's become, I'm guilty. I've got pedals laying all over here too. I kind of fell into that rabbit hole of, you know, you spend $1,000 on pedals to try to sound like a $500 amplifier.
Right.
You know, go figure.
It's crazy, man. And, you know, it's like, how many variations on one thing do you really need?
Yeah, tube screamers. And, I think we got it covered.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really cool because they're all unique, you know, and I like to support small businesses that are doing it for different reasons than huge corporations. But I'm just kind of like, you know, the saturation point. I can go out and do a gig on whatever. I've just tried to train myself to be like non-conditional with equipment. You know, if all there is a Vox AC-15 and a Telecaster, well, I can do the gig. Sure. If there's a Les Paul and a Plexi, I can do the gig. If, you know, just try to like be flexible in the fact that I'm never always going to have the same exact stuff, same exact pedals, the same exact everything. You got to be able to work with all of it. But it's still neat to sit there and watch these videos and fantasize about what it'd be like to have all this stuff. But I figure, you know, a volume knob, a tone knob, a guitar cable, and a guitar, you know, if you can do gigs on that, then all the other stuff's kind of like just, it's icing on a cake already. You know, I don't need a Rotovibe to do the gig. I don't need a wah pedal to do the gig, but I could do some stuff on there that really adds to it, you know. And so I try not to get too tied up in it, but, you know, I feel like technology is moving around so fast, you know, it's worth it to kind of keep up with what's going on a little bit, you know. And some of those amps that Marshall's coming out with, I mean, that's pretty brilliant. 20 watts. This is a Plexi now that's 20 watts. This is a JCM 800 that's 20 watts. That is pretty attractive because, you know, it's easy to haul around. It's, you know, not quite as loud as a 100 watter. And so those kind of things are fun to see develop. Vi's got that new bunch of amps. They're actual preamps. They're tube preamps from all these different amp models, Vox, Fender. I mean, he went down the list, and he's got 5 or 6 of them in this rack running into a power amp, and you can power a bunch of speakers. It's just really cool, because carrying around all those amps and the care and maintenance and feeding of all those amps is quite a lot of work and a lot of space. And he's got it all in like one little, rack and a couple speaker cabinets. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And it's not modeling, it's true.
That's cool.
It's true preamp of these famous amplifiers. So that was interesting. Am I going to go out and shell out for it? Probably not.
Yeah, you might as well do the modeling then if you're just playing around at home, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so all the builders, they show their, latest creations. That's pretty exciting. A lot of these guys are, they start out in their garage building guitars for a few friends and stuff. Next thing you know, they get some bands playing them, and it's like, wow, you start to recognize these brands, and it's amazing how some of these brands have taken over, the visibility. Gibson, they're always going to be there one way or another.
Sure.
But
fortunately, they managed to skirt the whole bankruptcy thing, huh?
Yeah, I guess so, man. I don't know what happened. It's like when you get up to that, it's like high finance. You know what I mean? It's you're buying and selling debt basically, and they got that guy from Levi's in there now. It's the CEO, and I guess he's turned Levi's around, so he thought maybe they could turn them around. We'll see. I like the stuff that I've seen coming out this year. It looks really no nonsense, no frills, and decent prices. Some of that stuff, who's going to buy a $7,000 guitar? Not me.
Right, but I think that they also made a crucial mistake when they were trying to go the absolute opposite direction and were selling $100 Les Pauls.
Yeah.
It's like anybody who wants a guitar can have a $100 Les Paul. It's like you're really starting to, you're tearing down the name. Les Paul has got just this iconic name, and if you're going to slap it onto a service merchandise style guitar, then...
I don't know how many Maestro by Gibsons I've seen advertised as a Gibson guitar,
right?
And they're convinced that it's worth $500 because it says Gibson on it. I'm like, well, it also says Maestro by Gibson, which when you tell them that was a line that got sold at Best Buy and at Radio Shack for like $100, then they don't believe you or whatever. But it's branding, and that's big corporate stuff, and
sure.
I like what they're coming out with this year. I'm excited to see how it all plays out.
That's cool. Really cool. So what is your gear of choice then?
Oh man, I like using all of it. I've amassed a pretty good little pile of it over the years of teaching and playing and trading and buying and selling and stuff. And I love Gibson guitars. I love Fender guitars. I love Alvarez guitars. Up to when I got hurt, I was playing a lot of solo gigs. And so I was doing those solo gigs on this like 12-string acoustic electric Alvarez.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so, that was cool. And it's in for a refret right now and back in service, hopefully in a few weeks. And I really like that, just straight in, I don't use a whole bunch of complicated stuff. The electronics and that sound pretty good. It's a pretty no nonsense setup. Electric gigs. Last electric gig I did, I was playing this. It's a Firebird that's like a '80s Epiphone Firebird. It's a bolt-on neck. I gave like $140 for it.
Nice.
And it's been relicked a little bit, and it's
so have I.
I've done a few things to it. Change the tuners out, but it's all stock. And so I was playing that through this Marshall 18-watt clone amp that my friend Les started before he passed, and so another friend of ours, Mark, finished it up, and I ended up with it. But it's an 18-watt Marshall clone head into a 410 cabinet, and I'm usually running like a EP booster, exotic booster in the front, and I got that on all the time, and then a tube screamer, Maxon 808 overdrive tube screamer, Rotovibe, and a wah pedal, maybe a flanger or chorus, just depends on how much patience I got that night.
Yeah, I understand that.
But, I like gear. Who doesn't? But, at the same time, you shouldn't let it, dictate what you're doing,
Right. I had posted about a year or so ago. I built out this really large pedal board. In fact, I took it out of service. I got tired of hauling it around. I had all my pedals on there. It's all wired up. It's looking really fancy. And
you saw the memes about the worship guitarist.
Yes,
pedal board.
yeah. And I threw a picture up there, and a buddy of mine goes, "You're killing your tone of the natural tone of your guitar and your amp with this." It's like, if I had the luxury of being able to just play with that, absolutely. But as a worship guitar player, I mean, every song I play is an entirely different setup. So I mean, it's like I'm tap dancing out there, hitting pedals and changing tunes, and flipping pickups around. And
one thing I discovered,
even changing the guitar.
One thing I discovered that works pretty good is this looper. It's a loop, So you got you plug the pedals into loops, and so on loop 1 you might just have your overdrives.
Yep.
Okay, in loop 2 you have your time-based effects, chorus, delay, etc. Loop 3 have your one. Like, I have this fuzz face. This thing just is cantankerous as all get out. It does not like anything else in the chain, and so put that on loop 3 by itself.
Nice.
So when you step on it, it takes it completely out of the loop, and so that works pretty good. But there again, the power supply on it's so cheap and just junky. It's like, man, this thing gets snapped someplace, I'm going to have a hard time finding another one of these in the middle of the night, So it's all like, I love those gigs where I just show up. I call it my hit and run rig. I've got this Marshall mini, it's like a mini stack. And so I've got one speaker cabinet from that. It's a single 10, and it's loaded with a Reverend 10-inch speaker. And then I have this Electro Harmonics makes this 22-watt amp that's like the size of a stomp box.
Cool.
And it's got a volume knob and a bright switch on it. So I can carry the cabinet in one hand. The little amp seriously would fit in my pocket.
Oh, cool. Chords
and a guitar, and I'm in and out of there easy. So, that's my hit and run rig that I like to go to. And you just ride your volume, and, it teaches you how to be a more expressive player, I think, because I have to focus on, all right, now what can I do for this part? All right, flip pickups, roll the tone back, roll the volume back, play lighter, play harder, and so that's the kind of thing that I'd really like sometimes, is just forgetting all the junk in between and just going straight into the amp.
Yeah. Although riding the volume I find it on a Les Paul's tough. It's real simple on my Strat or my Telly. I can just get my pinky in there and go for it.
See, and I always think...
I actually have a volume pedal that I use now just to kind of help out with that. Plus to kick it off between songs so I don't accidentally hit a chord in the middle of a prayer or something.
Right on, yeah. Yeah, volume pedal's real handy, and I was like, for delays and stuff, that really works. But, it's just another tone sucker, you know what I mean?
True.
And so, you're like... all this true bypass, all this, I just don't have time for it, I don't have the patience to really get into it. So I watch, I see all these videos, and it's, there's people out there that are strictly just into pedals.
Tone chasers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Once again, the guys that spent $1,000 trying to sound like a $500 amplifier.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I would have bought one of those
I do.
Those Klon Centaur overdrives, man. When he was still making those were like $300, and then I had a chance to buy one of those for a couple $100 one time, and I didn't do it. Well, now the original ones are like a couple $1,000.
Oh, isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. It's like, it's a great sound overdrive, no kidding, but I just don't know that I could cough up the difference between that and something, I'm almost more thrilled with what I can get for cheap now.
Oh, yeah. It's more like quantity instead of quality.
Yeah. It's like
what I can get 5 pedals for this amount. Also.
Yeah, what can I find that's cheap that works good and sounds good? That's more amazing to me. Anybody can spend tons of money on expensive stuff. It's going to be good, but now what can I get that's cheap?
What's the first thing you do when you bring a new pedal home?
Plug it into like a big loud amp, turn it up for a few hours, and play different stuff on it. Play, low volume, soft volume, play it through different amps, because they don't all sound good together.
Right.
The combinations are strange, I have this SG special, and it just doesn't sound good through my 50-watt Bassman, for instance. I just don't understand why that is. But you plug in one of the other SGs, different pickups maybe, I don't know. It's strange how that voodoo works, And some combinations you think would sound good together just doesn't do it for me.
Right.
And so you just try to okay, I know this sounds good. I know this sounds good. I know that sounds good. And you just spend a little time fooling around with it,
First thing I do is I take the 9-volt battery out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I tell you, there's nothing worse than going back about a year or two later to find out that 9-volt corroded and your $150 investment's now worthless.
I know. I hate batteries. I hate battery power.
I'm really surprised that they still put them in new pedals.
Yeah.
It's like, why? I get that these manufacturers and retailers are wanting to do exactly what you're saying. Give them the opportunity to go straight home and plug it in. But it seems to be like the only product out there where batteries are included.
Right.
Exactly. It's
right.
crazy.
I mean, even that Roger Mayer fuzz face I got, that thing's really finicky, but it's like one of the old ones, it's shaped like a spaceship and it's cast aluminum and it's signed by Roger Mayer inside. Yeah. I mean, that thing doesn't have a AC jack in it. I had to put one in there.
Oh, wow.
It just comes with a thing for a battery, and then, I had to put a little adapter on there to get it to run off an AC jack. And so it's like, it's tradition. I get it, but you got to make it usable in the world today.
Exactly. And, with all the one spots and things like that out there. In fact, yesterday I modded an Altoids tin to be a battery pack.
Hey, how cool.
It's I'll show it to you later on. It's not going to do a lot of good on the audio podcast, but I'll have a video up later this week of me modding it. So, yeah, it's got 2 9-volt batteries in there and just plug it right on in.
Man, I've seen this guy's like selling this amp kit. You put the amp kit together, and you can put it in an Altoids tin.
Yeah. I've seen those little minty tins or whatever.
Really neat.
Yeah.
Really neat.
Well, it's been kind of a tradition amongst the pedal boardists out there is you have an Altoids tin on there. And it's always a big mystery of what's kept in there.
Right.
So, well, now I have a less nefarious explanation of what's in my Altoids tin.
Yeah, right.
So even though it's legal in some states, but anyway.
Yeah, thank God for Oklahoma.
Yeah,
huh?
Exactly. So, well, cool, man. Cool. So, not NAMM show. You've been to it? Like, did you ever go to the summer NAMM?
Yeah, I went to the one in Nashville. That was really, a little bit less people, a little less manufacturers. They do most of their putting out the new stuff in January.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it will be available between now and the next NAMM, which is in July usually. Mm-hmm. So that was same but different. Nashville's a little different city than Los Angeles, a little easier to get around to. And there's tons of players there, but I think a lot of times,
your heroes out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Namesake, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I've been following him on Facebook lately too. It's like, dude, it's insane.
Well, there's another guy that I saw played Kansas City. His name is Maesson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's just gotten to the point where I get fan mail for them more than I get for me. I got a call for a gig the other day. The guy was like, "Oh, you're not that Matt Mason?" I'm like, "Sorry, I'm from Oklahoma."
Yeah. Well, back when I was going by Mark Allen 15, 20 years ago, Mark Allen, Allen's my middle name, and it's a lot better than the Vierthaler, which is a little hard for some people to pronounce. But I guess there was a Christian singer-songwriter named Mark Allen. I started getting all these emails, "Hey, can you play our church gig?" It's like back then I was all into hedonistic rock and roll music. So. It's like, I think you got the wrong guy, but if you want something a little more fun, let me know.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Mason in Nashville's really good, and he's like, was on the Nashville Star Tour, and he's done a lot of things and has a pretty good following all over the place. I get a message from Rhode Island, "Man, you sounded great in Rhode Island last night." And I write back, "I never played in Rhode Island."
Did you happen to sign up for my mailing list though?
Yeah, right on. So it's really weird.
That's awesome.
That is really weird.
That's one thing. If a bit of advice that I can give you guys is you're going out there in your DIY world, do your research on your name, because that's another. Because I was going by Mark Allen and decided in this last batch of releases that I'm doing, it's going to be Mark V for Vierthaler, right? Believe it or not, there's a Mark V out there, and he's like some hip-hop guy. So when I launched my stuff and it got onto Spotify, it ended up under him as Mark V and Poogie.
Well, I mean, I could see you venturing into hip-hop.
But I wouldn't team up with a guy named Poogie.
Why not, man? Well, maybe he's cool.
Yeah, maybe. I shouldn't judge a name by its cover, right?
You never know. Never know.
So. But yeah, well, on that subject though, I got a house pass, and you and I guess are going down to Austin in August. Is it August?
It is August.
August for the DIY musician conference there.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. I haven't been to Austin in a long time, so I'm looking forward to definitely being down there for that and try to learn some stuff. So we'll probably be doing some podcasting from there. Maybe.
And this is the CD Baby conference.
Yeah.
DIY musician conference.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a few questions I'd like answered for sure. I mean,
it's like, yeah. get my stuff out there better, please. But yeah, looking forward to it. I've seen some of the videos that have come out of there, and it's enlightening. These people.
I think they've had it in Nashville a few times.
Have they?
Yeah, and I think this might be the first one in Austin.
Oh, that's cool.
It'll be good because we got friends down there,
Yep.
so we'll have a good old time.
Exactly. So I got to go get my entry paid off next month. Or
Well, yeah, the early bird tickets are already on sale, I think.
Yeah, they're already doing that. So reserve hotel room, all that kind of stuff. So, well, that's cool, man. Looking forward to. Gosh, we used to take those road trips out to Dallas. That was some fun.
Yeah,
Talking about shows. What was that? The Greater Dallas Guitar Show.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was I went to that a bunch of years in a row.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
Fact,
100,000 square foot of guitar stuff. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. You always had your truck, so we can load it up with Little Kings and whatever merchandise we brought back.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we go down and play on the street corner, Deep Ellum.
That was cool. Man, we did pretty good for a couple hours down there. Only got to play 2 or 3 songs, really.
Yeah. And they just kept going by, and remember those girls in the limo kept driving back and forth and taking pictures out the sunroof of us.
Yeah, I think they wanted you, definitely.
I don't know about that, but but anyway, I just remember we walked into one of the bars down there, ordered a couple beers, and just dumped a handful of change on the bar, and the guy looked at us. It's like, we just got off work.
Yeah, man, that was a good time.
Yeah, so
should go back to that maybe.
Yeah, they changed ownership on that show though, didn't they? The guitar show.
Well, I think Charlie passed away, or not Charlie, but Mark, the guy that owned Charlie's Guitars, he passed away. So I don't know. I haven't been in a few years, but they're still doing it. It's still just as awesome as ever.
Yeah.
That's like sometime usually in May, I think it is now.
Right, because when we would go down there, usually be over the
March.
weekend that had the time change. So it's we get to sleep in it. No, we don't get to sleep in an extra hour.
yeah, it's like in May now, and I haven't been in a few years, but it sure is cool.
Yeah, it's close enough driving. It's only 4 hours from here, so
it's
not too bad.
Yeah, I've had one legendary weekend I had around that. I played Friday night with this rhythm section in Tulsa. Then I got up and I went and rehearsed with a different rhythm section during the day on Saturday. Then I went and played this afternoon gig with a different rhythm section. Then I loaded up my stuff and went to another show that night with yet another rhythm section. Then after the show, I came back to Tulsa. The show was out in Veneta, like 60 miles from Tulsa. And so I got back to Tulsa, unloaded my stuff. Then we headed down to Dallas to the guitar show. Got there probably 10:30, 11 o'clock Sunday morning. And hung out all day, watched all kinds of stuff. I was so exhausted. I was delirious, so that was really a weird experience, but I enjoyed it immensely. And I got home Sunday night really late, and I was like, man, that was one of the tiredest I've ever been in my whole life, but it sure was fun, Played a lot of music, saw a lot of stuff, listened to a lot of people. Yeah. It's cool.
They still have live bands out there.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Timmons played that one time we went there.
Oh, heck. It's like, now it's like, the guitar festival or something. And they've got, a couple stages outside maybe and one inside. And, you never know who you're going to see walking around, playing, whatever. And that's pretty inspiring.
Yeah. That's definitely cool. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to our Austin trip and many more to come soon. So.
Yeah, well, I hope we learned something. We already know 12 ounces is approximately a beer, and so we don't have to really prove that anymore. But, there's a lot of good topics they're going to be talking about. Sure. A lot of people that are going to be like, it's just like anything else. If you're a doctor, a lawyer, or anything, you got to have like some ongoing training, ongoing, inspiration.
Continuing education.
Yeah, and so things move so fast. This is going to be really good.
Yeah.
CD Baby Independent Musicians Conference in Austin.
Yeah, so if you guys happen to be down there, look us up. We'll be glad to let you buy us a beer, and we'll talk music. So, well, anyway, that puts us right about 30 minutes, so it's good to hang out again with you, man. And, I guess that's about all I got for this episode.
All right. Well, let's start on the next one.
All right. Sounds cool. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Remember, if you guys like us, be sure to like us. Sharing is caring. So, soon I'll have the Patreon link up if you guys want to throw a couple bucks our way. But until then, this is Matt and Mark's astute observation and insightful discussions about music podcast.
See y'all later.
Peace.